How's it going, everybody? CJ here, back in another video. We're doing another first thoughts today. We're doing this first thoughts on, what's his name? Bruvac, the Grandiloquent. So this is actually a really cool card because they finally made mill an actual keyword. So yeah, mill's now a thing, and Grandiloquent, whatever, Bruvac, doubles your milling. So this is going to end up being mono blue mill. There's a couple different ways to take this deck, but typically you're playing mill, so you're going to want all the good mill cards. So I've got a good list of a bunch of the top quality mill cards that I'm going to go through. Before we get into that list though, we got to look at Fleet Swallower and Traumatize, because these two cards go infinite with Bruvac to just immediately mill someone's entire library. So utilize that. Both those should be in any deck that Bruvac is in, or that Bruvac is commanding. And mill. So we got a lot of cool mill cards here. We got like Archive Trap, which can end up being free. We got Bond of Insight. Bond of Insight lets you draw a ton of, lets you bring back an instant or a sorcery. Yeah, 2 instants or sorceries. And doing that, like a lot of the mill cards tend to be instants or sorceries, so this lets you just be able to recast them and continue milling, while also milling people in the process of doing that. Next card I want to talk about is Countermand, Thought Collapse, and Didn't Say Please. These are all counter spells that also mill your opponent. You're going to need a lot of counter magic in this deck. There's going to be a very control-y deck to be able to protect yourself, basically, just to stop other people's game plans while you mill them. That's going to be very, very important. You're going to need a lot of control elements in this deck. Drowned Secrets is a good one. That and it's like a Corrosion are both relatively recent, and they're very strong in this deck. Gonna let you mill a lot of cards very easily. Fascination, along with like Blue Sun Zenith, or what's that card called? Sands Delirium. All of those just let you mill really hard. Same thing with like Folio of Fancies. That's even better because it'll mill everybody. Keening Stone, that's going to be a key card in this deck. Being able to just mill people for how much you've already milled them, but doubling that because of your commander seems pretty good. You got Fraying Sanity, which is another very, very good just mill card, just to increase the amount of mill. Hedron Crab, every time you play a land you get to mill. Ipnu Rivulet, a land that if you throw in a couple other deserts, you just can mill using your lands if you need to. Jace's Mindseeker doubles the amount of cards that it mills, and so that means you have a deeper variety of cards you can choose from to cast using Jace's Mindseeker. Is it Mindseeker? Mindseeker. Keening Stone, I just mentioned. Why did I go back to that? Mind Crank, so that way your opponents, when they attack each other, they're also helping you with the milling game plan. Patient Rebuilding. This card is very good because being able to double the amount that you mill somebody with it means that you're going to be able to draw, on average, double the amount of cards using it, because it'll be milling, on average, double the amount of lands. Psychic Corrosion, I already mentioned that one. Psychic Spiral, this just seems solid late game, like a very easy way to just mill somebody for a lot of cards. But I mean, it's definitely not ideal. This is a card that's like kind of fringe playable. Let's see what else we got here. Sphinx Mindbreaker, that's a new Sphinx from one of the theme boosters from, I think, Theros. ETBs, each opponent mills 10 cards, so with your commander in play, ETBs, each opponent mills a fifth of their deck. That seems pretty solid, especially if you can like flicker that with Deadeye or something. Sphinx's Tutelage, just always a very solid mill card. Sweet Oblivion, that's a new one from Theros that has Escape, so it's just a good card because you can reuse it. If you run out of other things to do, you can just be able to recast it from your graveyard. Dreamborn Muse. Dreamborn Muse is really cool. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts the top X cards of the library into their graveyard. They mill the top X cards with X number of cards in their hand. So with cards like Folio of Fancies and sometimes what's it called? Blue Sun Zenith. You're going to be able to mill somebody for a lot of extra cards. Next I want to talk about Teferi's Tutelage, new card that's just got printed. Seems pretty good. It's basically like another Sphinx's Tutelage. Still just very solid. Like, it's an auto include. Mesmeric Orb, auto include. Super powerful card. Great for milling. Force Fruition, disgusting. Like, every time an opponent casts a spell, they draw 7, so it is card draw, but it's just so rapid that you mill yourself. They will mill themselves very, very easily with that. And Memory Erosion. Memory Erosion is whenever an opponent casts a card, they mill, so just kind of fits with Force Fruition there. There's another way to consistently mill. So those are the cards that I had for good mill cards to add in. A lot of it's consistent mill, like enchantments and stuff like that, that sticks around so you can reuse it. And there's a couple of one-shots in there that can do a lot of milling, especially when it's doubled. One card that you got to look at for this deck is Undead Alchemist, because whenever a creature card goes from an opponent's deck to their graveyard, you get to have a zombie. So you can make a pretty good army of zombies to protect yourself using all these mill cards. And another way you can build this deck is you can make this a good tribal deck, Tribal Advisors, specifically Persistent Petitioners, because they love milling, and your commander happens to be an advisor too. So it seems like a very, very good combination there. Like, you can throw in Thrumming Stone, because that card's disgusting in any deck similar to Persistent Petitioners. Intruder Alarm, so you can tap them to mill, play a Persistent Petitioner, untap them, tap to mill, play it, untap, tap, do all that. Sphinx of Chimes. What? I don't remember what Sphinx of Chimes does, and I didn't actually... Oh, there it is. This is a good one because of the fact that you're going to have a lot of persistent petitioners. If you need to dig a little deeper, you can discard 2 of them to draw 4 cards. Seems pretty solid. Then you can throw in all your tribal stuff like Kindred Discovery. You can throw in anything like Gauntlet of Power. You can throw in... Like, there's a lot of things you can throw in. Cage Sun. That's not really... neither of those are really tribal, but like they're monocolory. Throw in Nykthos because you are mono blue. Yeah. There's just a lot you can do. There's a lot of fun things you can do with Persistent Petitioners here. And I think this might be the best Persistent Petitioners commander yet. So I think that would be a very fun way to build it. If you want to just go straight mill, it's probably not the best way. The best way is probably utilizing a lot of the cards that I mentioned before and over Persistent Petitioners. But they're still going to be a solid deck. I think that that's probably the strongest way to build Persistent Petitioners. And so yeah, that is what I have for Bruvac, the Grandiloquent. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember, comment down below if you're going to build this deck. If you're excited about mill being keyworded, let me know. I'd like to hear about, like, if you're doing anything with mill. If you got a cool mill deck that this guy's going into, comment down below. He seems like any mill deck that you build needs to have him in it. Like, he is an auto-include for mill. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check me out on Patreon if you really want to support the channel. And we will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.